Hello everybody, my name is Flesh177 and I'm today going to run Celeste here at SpeedCon, and I have
Hello.
and they are going to support me with commentating because this game is hard if you commentate all alone. So I will just do a quick countdown and then we get ready. So 3, 2, 1, go! So this is Celeste. It's a pretty popular and new game in the speedrun world. It got released last year in January, and since then it became pretty popular in the speedrun scene. And yeah, it's a momentum-based platformer, as you will see just in a little bit. This prologue is pretty boring. Like, we don't have the dash yet. We just learned it at the very end of the prologue. And once we have the dash, the real speed can start. So yeah, this is the tutorial crowd. He just tells us things if we don't know them yet.
You can actually die in this tutorial, by the way.
Yeah, it's like, I think I died casually there. And I died also in the speedrun sometimes. So yeah, now we go to City, which is a pretty hard level already, so somebody is going to explain this, but not me. Like the movement and all.
Okay, so we just got a dash in the prologue, and this will be heavily used because it gains a lot of momentum.
I have to do this, sorry.
Okay. No problem. So basically we can dash and jump out of the dash like he did here on a wall. That's a wall dash. It preserves the momentum. It doesn't even have to be a large wall like this. You can do it here. He is gonna do it here. So he can also wall climb and run up walls, but dashing is usually faster. That was a reverse hyper dash. I will have trouble explaining all of this. Basically, you can dash into a corner and it saves the speed, and basically every time you dash you ideally stay on the ground for long enough to regain the dash. You can see it in Madeline's hair color. So basically if he dashes and her hair turns red again, he can dash in the air again. Saves a lot of momentum, and basically we want to stay on the ground as little as possible because we retain the momentum every time we move into a dash. A lot of times the dash is refreshed, usually when we hit the floor. Also, that was a nice spike jump there. So there's a small spikes that have collision that you can jump on but don't die.
So yeah, that was chapter 1. By the way, you will see this chapter later on blindfolded because we met already the incentive. So yeah, stay till the end of the run if you want to see that. So this is now old side. Here we meet our a villain of this game, which is Madeline. She's like a mirror, a part of us, and she looks exactly like us, but like a little bit more gothic, I can say. And she is going to prevent us from climbing the mountain, as you will see in a little bit. You may have already noticed that every chapter has its own mechanics. In City we had those zippers that were blocks. They activate and start to move once we entered the room, once we stand on them. And in this chapter the mechanic are the dream blocks, and we can dash through them and refresh our momentum after we dash through the block. And this is like just a very fast way of traveling around. And you can enter them with with all 8 directions. And now we have Madeline. She's wow. She's following us. She's literally the same as Shadow Mario from Mario Galaxy. You may be more familiar with. She copies our movement and mimics it, and just with a delay of 3 seconds. And later on, she's going to be going to spawn 3 or 5 doppelgangers. Now she's going to spawn 3, so it's technically going to be harder, but we are so fast that she's never going to catch up technically, or she should never catch up. What you see there, or saw there, we can jump out of dream blocks, which gives us a little bit more momentum and gains some height. So yeah, dream blocks are very technical. You learn a lot about them in the game. The game actually teaches you a lot of the speedrun threads, or the speedrun mechanics, better said. So yeah, coming up next is a wake section, which is already a pretty technical part, but also my favorite part of this entire run. So yeah, I will shut up a little bit.
So what he wants to do here is do hyper dashes into hyper dashes, and he wants to not get stuck on the corners so that he doesn't lose his momentum. And basically, he keeps his momentum through screens. He wants to avoid these brown springs at all possible times.
That was a pretty good awake section for me.
So this is chapter 2 done. After every, or at the end of every chapter, there's a cutscene, but you can skip all of them. So you won't see anything of the story, unfortunately. Which is actually a really deep story for this kind of platformer. But yeah, so it's really recommended to play it.
Yeah. The story tries to teach you a lot about real life and overcoming your own struggle with yourself. It's really good. That's one reason why I started speedrunning this game. Because I loved the story. I also enjoyed the platforming quite a lot. And I watched once a speedrun on SGDQ and I got mind blown by the movement and I said to myself, I wanna do this myself. So yeah, Resort is one of the more harder chapters. Like the first 2 chapters are not as hard for beginners as this chapter. Every room is based on cycles. As you see these little creatures, wow. Okay, as you see these little creatures, they are called dust bunnies. And they are always moving in the same cycle, but they're technically always moving in the same cycle. There are 2 types of cycles, a transition cycle and a death cycle, because they change the cycle a little bit if you enter the room compared to if you died in the room. So sometimes if I die in a room, I may go back because I'm not familiar with the death cycle really. And this is now Oshiro. Maybe somebody else want to explain what he's doing here in this resort?
So this level is called Huge Mess. Basically, Oshiro is like a spirit which ran this hotel, and he didn't do a good job. And as you can see, there's like towels and books and boxes all over the place, and they basically block the way to the key that we need to progress. So we basically have to clean up after him by going through these little side rooms. And okay, what he did there was a spike jump. Now spikes actually only hurt you when you are facing against them. If you're facing the same direction as the spikes, we can actually touch the wall behind the spikes and jump off of it, which is what he did there.
Yeah, a lot of new runners think it's extremely hard, but it's not really that hard. Most people recommend them to just imagine that the wall is without spikes and you just never press towards the wall, and then you can perform quite easily some spike jumps. We will see a few more spike jumps later on in the run.
Also in this chapter, for the first time you realize this game is not even that straightforward as it looked like in the first 2. Because this is not that linear, and you kind of have to find your way through this whole mess.
Yeah, little fun fact of all these areas we're going through right now, they change in what order we do them. So we did boxes, books, and then towels. And if we would do any other order, the rooms would change within each section.
So now the room is clear and we can just grab the key and open the door.
So yeah, coming up next is a pretty precise trick. It's called the Demo Dash, and it's a pixel-perfect 8-frame trick where we can dash through a wall. For you guys, you have to know that Madeline has 2 types of hurt boxes, a crouched one and a standing one, and the crouched one is small enough to go through certain gaps and walls, and we will do this just right here. So what a demo dash is technically a dash with a crouched hurt box.
So basically what he's trying to do, the dust bunnies have a circular hitbox, and there is actually enough space in between for Madeline to fit through if we do this demo dash.
And if we would have done that first try, that would have been a 12-second time save. Probably now it's still a time save compared to the older route, but yeah. There's now a Shiro. The ghost, this is the same ghost as previously, but now he is upset and angry because of things Battlein said to him. So yeah, Battlein just came into action and upset him, but we don't see it because we skipped the cutscenes. This section is actually pretty hard, so I will just be silent towards the end.
Basically, Madeline is fairly polite with Oshiro, and Battlein basically tells him that his hotel is a mess, which he doesn't take too kindly to.
I still think it's kind of rude that he tries to kill us, even though we helped him cleaning after all. So it's kind of mean. But what can you do?
Well, we are his only guest and we just ran away, which is also not very nice.
So yeah, next chapter is Golden Ridge. The main mechanic of this chapter is the wind you will see just in a few rooms. Then there is also these clouds and these bubbles. These bubbles are like an additional dash we can get in the air. And clouds are like trampolines we can jump off, but you can decide the height of the trampoline jump. And we can mix them up with dash jumps, and it will look pretty cool later on, hopefully.
You can also exit the bubbles early by just inputting a dash, so you don't have to wait for the bubble to finish.
Coming up next is Archie, which is a very unknown trick, even in the community. Oh wow, I messed it up. So this is Archie. What I did there, it's pretty weird, but when you do some sort of downwards movement into an upwards movement, which we just did, we did a down dash and an upwards dash, something happens with the hurt box off the bubble, and we can diagonal dash there, which makes this room a lot faster.
So you just did another spike jump that is really precise.
Okay, next room, I really need to focus here. Wow, I'm so sorry. So we skip this block here. It's called auto-scroller skip. I will do it one more try, then I go to the more safer strat. Okay, never mind. I messed it up. It's like a faster version with an ultra dash. So what we do there, the momentum of the block, we use the momentum of the block to get to here without using the block itself. And what I tried before is to do this trick with an ultra dash. It's like 2 to 3 seconds faster, but I really have problems with it, and yeah, so I just said to myself I don't want to mess too long with that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So the wind is increasing in like intensity. So
yeah.
Basically we are now having to steer against the wind a lot more, as luckily keeping the dash keeps our speed, so we are not stopped by the wind if we keep dashing.
Yeah, the wind does not affect our momentum we gain through dashes, which makes this chapter, for beginners, I would say, a lot more easier as they thought it will, because most casual players find this chapter pretty annoying. But in a speedrun, I enjoyed it quite a lot in the beginning of my journey. As a speedrunner nowadays, it's became pretty hard, so yeah. Oh. Here we try to skip a wind cycle. Normally you have to wait for the wind once more, but we can also just do this and skip like entire wind cycle, which is quite a lot. So now we are in heavy wind section, which is like the very end of this chapter, and you see the wind is very heavily blowing against us.
So So what he's trying to do here is to basically jump in front of the block like this, so that he doesn't have to wait for the block to finish. And now suddenly there's randomly snowballs flying our way. He can jump on the snowballs to regain his dash, but he can also get hit and die. So they just use it to refresh his dash. They can be really annoying.
Okay. What just happened there is somebody connected his controller to my Switch for whatever reason. We had a little Smash Brothers tournament here in the venue, and they used my Switch for it, like with my permission, obviously. And something weird happened there. I don't know. But the in-game time didn't stop, so it's only important for the real time, I guess.
Do we have time for donations?
Yes, of course.
So we have $10 from Alex saying, good luck from Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
And we have another $10 from Asra saying, hey Flash, good luck on your run. And really, if from all the children we save, only one child becomes a human half as decent as Flash, it was totally worth it. Enjoy SpeedCon and keep ruin games for us.
Thank you, guys. So this chapter is Mirror Temple. It's the 5th chapter of the game. There's a little story in the speedrun. So you know there are A and B sides of this game, and B sides are technically just a harder version of each chapter. And in this chapter, and you unlock them within the normal A sides. We are all the time playing A sides. Okay, we got Yeet. And in Mirror Temple, it's actually faster to get the B-side tape and then play through the B-side. I just don't do it yet because I had no time to practice it really. It's like not that recent, but I never went for it. What we did there was also an Archie. Normally you are not supposed to grab that ledge through the bubble, but we just did it with the same trick as we performed in Chapter 4.
The old strategy there was to do a corner boost.
Yeah, that's the really hard strategy.
That's why people didn't like it.
Yeah. But nobody really runs this 5A anymore. There are just a few runners who were as lazy as I was, you can sort of say, to not learn 5B yet. But 5B is technically if you compare both IL world records, 5B is around 30 seconds faster. If you compare both task records, it's just 20 seconds faster, I think, or something like this. I'm not quite sure, actually.
So what we just saw was a dream sequence that lets you play as the enemy that you will encounter in this chapter to make yourself familiar with how they work. They're called Seekers, and you're gonna see them in a...
Right here.
Right now.
Yeah, right now.
So they basically, once they get line of sight to you, they start charging at you. However, they also can hit these switches for you.
Yeah. Most people think Seekers are random, but quite fortunate for speedrunning, in this game is no RNG. Seekers are only based on your position. Once they see you, they dash to whatever your positioning was. And you can manipulate all their movement by positioning yourself quite well. Even though that's the truth, I still say there's some sort of RNG. Sometimes they try to troll you and do things you were not expecting.
Also, they refresh your dash if you step on top of them.
Yeah. So now we go to search section, and we literally skip all of it. This is going to look a little hard, but it's technically a very easy skip we have to perform here, and every speedrunner of this game, every speedrunner of this game should be able to do it. I just failed it there, and again, fuck.
This trick was found fairly early on. So
yeah, I think they already found it when they created the game, in the beta of in the team.
So basically, what he does there is similar to reverse hyperdash. That allows him to boost with fairly high speed and keep his dash so that he can dash over these spikes.
Yeah, it's technically just a reverse dash jump. There are two types of dashes. We do have hyper dashes and dash jumps, and dash jumps have more height and hyper dashes have more speed. So now we're in Theo's section. Theo is an NPC we encounter throughout this entire game, but we never really talk with him in the speedrun. We just see him in this chapter. And he's now imprisoned in this crystal, and we have to rescue him because he got also caught up in this mirror temple. And how Oshiro and his momentum works is quite interesting. Every time you grab him without momentum, he slows you down, and you also walk with him fairly slower. But every time you grab him with momentum, you gain some extra speed. Okay, now okay, we are alive.
Flash is obviously referring to Theo, not Oshiro, but
Yeah.
we all know that.
Yeah, and a lot of new runners have some trouble with Theo movement, and it's like a different game, you can sort of say. Oh wow. And what I do here is a Theo wall jump. If you grab Theo with momentum, like not horizontal, vertical momentum, you can gain again some momentum upwards, so you can make this wall jump. But that's like a lot harder than you may think. Like, it's not that hard, but it's like you need to be exact. What I just realized that we have photosensitive mode off or on, so I will quickly change that because otherwise this next chapter will look not so cool. So yeah, this reflection, we already climbed quite a lot on this mountain, but there's something happening in the story which throws us down the entire mountain again, story-wise, and it's battling obviously, and our trouble with ourselves. Like, this game like talks a lot about depression, because Madeline sort of goes through it herself. So yeah, now we are technically at the bottom of the mountain, or like in the mountain. It's quite hard to explain.
And we got just introduced into two new different things. The first thing are the feathers that gives you this flying ability.
Yeah.
It gives you a pretty wide range of moving.
It's actually 360 degrees.
Also, these blocks with faces on them have a fairly interesting name.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so the blocks are actually called Kevin blocks because the person who created the sound the blocks made, his name is Kevin. And there's actually a really funny clip of how this sound was made. And I really hope someone can post this and share it. I told the mods to do it for me. Because you really want to see how the sound was produced. It's really funny.
Yeah. So here in the middle part of Reflection, we can choose the path. There's a bottom and an upper path, and most of the time we go up. But sometimes the bottom, the room at the bottom of each section, it's like a little faster. So yeah. As you saw there, one cool thing about the momentum in this game, you can add momentum from moving blocks to your own momentum. Like, we saw this all through the run, but there it was, like, I think pretty obvious.
Basically, we'll soon get to a scene where we build up quite a lot of momentum with a moving block.
Yeah, I hope I will get it. It's pretty cool. Another thing about these bumpers, they are also new in this chapter. When you get hit by them and hold away from them, you get double distance and double speed. They bump you away, so that's quite nice. We used it there in this room. So yeah, this was technically the middle part. Now we are on the way to Battle-In because, yeah, you will see it. So yeah, just going a little bit deeper into this mountain for now.
So this is fairly precise. There are shortcuts here. The first two shortcuts are fairly free. The third one is... that's very nice. The third one is crooked, so it's harder to do.
Yeah, the other two are like, I think it's like just 1 pixel of space you can like mess up. But there are walls you can just align yourself with, and then you can get the first 2 parts of the skip fairly easy. So, okay, now this trick he was talking about is coming up. We nearly got it. Normally you can get through all of this towards Battle-In, and you can already hit her in this fight. So this is Battle-In fight. Everybody in chat, please spam Heya. What we have to do here is we have to get to Battle-In. She has a fairly big hitbox, and we just have to jump in her direction or dash in her direction. That is enough to hit her, and she's trying her best to prevent us from that. With she's firing some red bullets or is firing a laser, which can make some rooms a little bit tighter, but technically Battle-In fight is pretty straightforward in the speedrun.
See a lot of Heyas in chat.
Nice. So, wow. Okay, double feather skip. I nearly got it. I will try it again.
So just like earlier, there are also death cycles in this room, or in all these rooms. I'm gonna shut up. You need concentration for this.
So you can technically say this is the only boss fight of this run. A lot of people say Oshira is also a boss fight, but it's more like of an escape sequence. And yeah, there's also a second part of this boss fight, or second phase you may say. It's coming up now. So this is a little bit of cutscene, a little bit of talking, a little bit of skipping, and yeah, she's talking to us that we are not ready to climb this mountain. So yeah, Battle-In is technically referring as the part inside of Battle-In that doubts herself all the time. So yeah, and this is the second half of Battle-In fight. It's going to be done pretty soon. And the music got like a little bit more intense, I would say. Oh my god, that was fairly close.
This is a really long room.
Yeah, this is probably the most punishing room in the entire speedrun. If you die here, you can lose a lot of time. So yeah, but we survived it quite well. So after every good boss fight, we get a level up. So this is also working in this game. A level up in a jump and run means or like in this game means we do get a second dash. So what technically happens story-wise is that Madeline and Battle-In finally came together and they are teaming up now. So we got a lot more powerful and have a lot greater belief in ourselves. So yeah. As I said earlier, we got thrown down to the bottom of the mountain, so we have to climb all of it again. So this is technically the last chapter, Summit. It's called Summit, but we go through all the sections before, but in like other shapes. But the theme of each section is the same. So the first 0 meters is going to look like chapter 6, and then it's chapter 1, 2, 5.
Basically, as the story goes, we fell down, all the progress that we made was lost, so we have to do like a miniature version of all the levels once over, until we actually finally can climb Mount Celeste.
Also, why it's really nice that whenever you die, you spawn at the beginning of the room. The longer the room, the more time you lose, obviously. So for the longer rooms, it's really punishing if you actually die.
Yeah, I think there's actually just one run in the any percent route where a checkpoint is within a room. And I think there are throughout the game not so many rooms that have a checkpoint individually placed inside of a room. But yeah, technically every room has, at the very beginning, its own checkpoint, and that's it. If you die, you have to do the entire room again. So yeah, as you see, this is looking very familiar to the first chapter, which was Forsaken City, which is like very nice story-wise that you technically this chapter is representing climbing up all the way again. So why do you not revisit all the chapters again? I mean, that makes quite a lot of sense.
Also, gems refresh both dash charges on metal now instead of only one.
By the way, if you're wondering what all the strawberries flying around mean, they're collectibles, but you don't need any of them. They're completely optional.
Yeah, I think the game actually says you in Chapter 3 or in Chapter 2, strawberries are completely optional and you can just impress your friends with it. There's a category which is called ARB, which stands for all red berries, and in this category you obviously collect all the red berries, which is pretty hard. But this is not the topic of today's run. So yeah, this is the equivalent to old side, so we have dream blocks again. It's a pretty fun section of the run. Like a lot of fast movement. Wow, okay.
This happens really rarely. Basically, he was, I think, 1 or 2 frames too low.
Yeah.
And you...
Pixels.
Sorry, pixels too low. So he is inside the green block, but exits too low and clips into the ground and gets crushed.
Yeah, a lot of unfortunate mistakes here and there, but yeah. We are still fine for estimate, don't worry guys.
Okay, nice recovery.
Yeah, that's also a cool thing, what I've learned speedrunning this game. It's not always going perfect, and some recoveries I did in the past on my stream and somewhere else, they look pretty funny and cool, and it's amazing to watch yourself getting better at this game and getting more familiar with the movement that you can just pull off certain saves.
Is there time for donations or do you need to focus?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we have quite a few donations. So Gramby sends us $10 and saying, good luck, Flesh.
Thank you, Gramby.
Joe Popathan sends $5 saying, Stinky Cheese Squad calling in, good luck and have fun, Flesh.
Who sent that donation?
Joe Popathan.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Another $10 from Don Toby saying, let's go Flesh, stinky cheese, stinky cheese, stinky cheese, stinky cheese, stinky cheese.
These are all people that know me privately. It's pretty cool that they're all watching me and supporting me. I'm pretty proud of myself right now.
Yep, and there are another $5 from Joe Popathan again saying, let's go Flesh, stinky cheese, of course.
So I messed up the transition cycle of this room, and the death cycle is a little harder, but I just died because I was making some misinputs. Misinputs happen all the time in this game. It's like just how you deal with it. So this is, in my opinion, probably the hardest section for me in Summit. There are 2 rooms I really have a problem with sometimes. The next, not the next, in 2 rooms. So the next of this room is one of them. It's a pretty hard room. There are many strats for this room. The one I did, I was created by me, you can say. And one thing about this game that's so cool, in my opinion, is that everybody can create his own strategies and can say what he's going to do. As you may, if you know the game, earlier I did quite a lot of rooms, not that optimized yet, but it's totally fine because you can optimize this game as you go with, and you don't have to pull off certain strategies that much. So there's a lot of creativity in the speedrunning community that you can apply to your own run. And I don't think there's even a single runner that has exactly the same route as somebody else. I think everybody has at least like 30 to 50% difference from each other. So that's pretty cool, I would say. Even top 10 runners have like a different strategies here and there. So that shows that there are many ways to get good in this game.
We have now entered the mirror tempo part of this, and there's a lot of these moving blocks that move when we dash, and like you could see there, we can add our dash momentum to the blocks, the movement momentum, to gain insane speeds. There's a very neat trick coming up here. Yep, nice, you got it.
Yeah, that was another spike jump.
Saves a lot of time going around.
Yeah. So yeah, next, coming up next is like a door skip, which is like infamous in the speedrun community. It's like when we discovered it was doable, we've actually thought it's like super hard and it's only saving 1 second, and then once everybody realized it's not that hard, everybody goes for it. So I tried to go for it even though I don't like it that much myself. But we got it second try, so
the run
nice.
is now valid.
Yeah.
So it's basically a meme that the run is invalid if you don't do it. It really doesn't save that much time.
I pressed my second jump button on, which is on my left shoulder button. I pressed it accidentally, that's why I jumped there. That was not supposed to happen. That's another big room where you can lose a lot of time if you die here. Okay, so this was all of the sections in the run. So now we are at the true summit, 3,000 meters. There are 30 checkpoints, so I would love to see chat counting down from 30 to 1 once we get there. So 29 now, and chat goes ahead, please. Oof. That was not intended, but we recovered somehow.
Yeah, so since the summit is basically one big room, they decided to put all the checkpoints in. So when you die, you start at the last flag you hit. You can also skip flags.
Yeah, we will skip a few.
Yeah. So please keep that in mind, chat. You have to pay attention.
So as you see, maybe over the screen there is some pixels moving, which means there's again wind blowing, like very similar to Chapter 4. But this time it's blowing from the top to the bottom. So our jumps are a lot slower and we fall faster. Are a lot lower and we fall faster. And that was technically the end of the downwind section as we finished this right here. And now we have the wind blowing up, so our jumps are higher and we fall a lot slower. No, what am I doing? I don't know what happened there. My brain was not working anymore for a second.
So he won't grab every single flag because some flags are a bit out of the way and it's just faster to ignore some flags. Of course there are checkpoints, so you don't really want to die after you skip a flag. But so far it's been really good.
So this is flag 13, which is probably the most hated flag and most hated section of this run. Because it's pretty long and dying here is fairly simple. So maybe We don't die today. Nice.
Just casually jumps over the spikes on the wall.
Yo, Twitch chat, you're doing a pretty good job. By the way. Oh, I'm not. So this is the very last part of the summit. There's no wind. It's just like tight movement with feathers and whatnot. Flag 2 in particular, which is this flag, I had a very bad history with it. Back then when I was grinding for sub 40, I had a lot of problems with this. So yeah, today we survived it also pretty well. So this is just flag 1. You should not die here. This is like very simple movement and platforming. But maybe we mess up something. Let's better hope not for. So time. So yeah, this was I think 37 something. We will see here. Pretty good I would say. Yeah, 37-13. It's good. So now we go to the incentive, which we met I think pretty early already. So I will play for you chapter 1 blindfolded. So yeah, I have to somehow blindfold myself and then hello controller, please stop, do not stop working. So what I will do here before we start, I will set the music to 1 because I still want to listen to the music, but we need the sound effects. So you hear when you climb on a wall, or you hear what wall you're climbing on, and you hear what ground you're standing on. So that's quite nice. And we don't need an extra timer because we have the in-game timer for it.
So while we have the setup for the blindfold, we have another $15 from Shalane saying, good luck Flash, enjoy your time at SpeedCon. Another $5 from Jelly saying, we are so proud of you Flash, finish this run strong. These two were during the run, I didn't have the opportunity to throw them in. There was so much. And another $5 from Don Toby saying, I am proud of you Flash, you did the door skip, stinky cheese.
Okay, I would like to start now, so yeah, better wish me good luck. I try my best to explain what's going on in my head, but maybe if I'm not explaining, I'm sorry, but I just try to focus and play well. So yeah, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, in blindfolded, walls are your best friends because they're like a good way to measure where you are. Oh yeah, that was a wrong dash I did there. Okay, and when you climb up a wall, you can do so. You can do it in a way that you just stop at the end of a wall, so you don't like move forward too much. Here we do a neutral jump. We did like a couple in the any % run. Some strats are very inconsistent and I might have a problem with. Okay. It's a little quiet, but I do my best. Fuck, now I don't know where I am actually. I just reset the room. Okay, I think I dashed a little bit too early. That's why I hit a wall I should not hit. I think I dashed too early again. Okay, so I try to dash not too early this time. Okay. I'm now in the next room, I guess. And I hope I have my dash. Yes, I do. And here we throw for the best, so yeah. This next room is pretty hard, so... am I already in the next room? Now I'm definitely in the next room. So, yeah, this thread I just came up with like 5 minutes for my run or something. And otherwise I had a pretty inconsistent thread there. Am I already in the next room? I was not. I will just walk to this side, and when I die, then I know I'm in the next room. Yeah, it's pretty hard sometimes to figure out if you're in the next room or not. But I think so far I did quite well. So this next room is the other room that is really hard and inconsistent. Wow. Okay, I got it first try, that's pretty good. Okay, yeah. Next room has an audio cue. We collect a jewel. Oh, I did a hyper dash there. We collect a jewel which refreshes at the exact same time as we have to dash diagonal towards the next section. And I should better be silent, otherwise I can't do this room here. Okay, I'm not where I want to be, but now I think I'm where I want to be. I think I'm now in the next room. Yeah, definitely in the next room. I'm just messing up the dash jump. There we go. Okay. This was the audio cue. As you hear the jewel, we dashed at the exact same time. Okay, now I am doing the full jump off the trampoline. The next room we actually do exactly the same as in any percent, so yeah, it's pure muscle memory what I do here, or what I try to do here. Okay, I think I messed up the wave dash. Yeah, there we go. And there we go. Hello? Okay. Where am I? I have actually no idea where I am right now. Okay. Hello. There we go. So yeah, we need to clear the last room actually. There we go. So yeah, that was Celeste. I will do a quick shout-outs here. So shout-outs to all of my friends and my community that encouraged me to go here, and I just love you all. And shout-outs to some specific people that always helped me out when I needed some help in this game, especially Granby, aka Malix, Hawk Sam, Crichter. Crichter is the other person that runs this game blindfolded a lot, so he helped me out with a lot of threats. And Phoenix, he's a top runner, and Less Than Perfect. All these people help me out a lot with strategies and always help me when I need some help. So yeah, thank you all for having me here, and I hope you enjoyed the run and the blindfolded. Bye.
Yes, and thank you very much, Flesh, for showing Celeste. It was a very, very nice